Meat City, baby.
Hello and welcome back to Meat City Gaming. JD here with my second episode of my Dredge Iron Rig DLC All Achievements playthrough. In the previous video, we kind of did an introduction to the Iron Rig DLC and a refresher for Dredge in general, since it's been a while since we last played this game. In that episode, we completed the first kind of mini section or mini chapter for the DLC. We went to the starting area of the game, the Narrows, and we captured 4 different species of fish, 3 fish and 1 crab that the scientist was requesting for their research. Turning those in advances the story, activates the drill in the iron rig, and we now have a new location for this disturbed or corrupted water, this goo water as I call it, which is now in the second location for the game, the Gale Cliffs. And the strategy here is going to be very similar to what we did for the first location for the Narrows. We are going to head to the Gale Cliffs. I recommend having at least 3 crab pots with you. Put those down as the first thing that you do when you get to the Gale Cliffs, and then we can start to fish for the 3 species of fish that we need, and the crab pots will hopefully start to work on that 1 species of crab that we need. I'll mention here at the beginning, there's a little bit of a travel trick, a shortcut that I set up in my game that's available if you've completed the Pale Reach DLC. The ultimate reward for that DLC is an anchor that you can drop in a spot, and it sets up a portal from where you dropped it to Blackstone Isle, where the collector is. And what's nice then is you can set up kind of a little chain to get from anywhere on the map to the iron rig. So I set up the anchor right at the dock to the iron rig. So now I've got a portal from iron rig to Blackstone Isle. The Blackstone might not be the right isle, but the isle where the collector is. And that location is where you teleport to when you use, I think it's called the Abyss ability. So there's a teleport ability that always takes you to that little island. And so anywhere on the map, if you're in the Gale Cliffs, you need to get back to the iron rig, you can use the Abyss ability. That puts you at the island, and then your portal is right there. You can go through that to get to the iron rig. And then it's a quick little jump and you're there. The Abyss does have a bit of a cooldown, but you're in Gale Cliffs. You use the ability, you go through the portal, you're back at the iron rig, you can do whatever you need to. You can sleep for like 2 days at the iron rig, your abilities recharge, back through the portal. You will need to drive then from the island back to the Gale Cliffs. So you'll always have that little bit of travel that you need to do, but it cuts out a ton of travel time for getting back to the iron rig very quickly. As we're working through the Gale Cliffs here to catch our 4 species of fish, eventually you're going to unlock the tier 2 factory upgrade back at the iron rig. And this gives us access to 3 different things that we can build, 3 components for the ship. One of those components is kind of bad. It's pretty useless in my opinion, especially if you're kind of late game and you've done a lot of the stuff for your boat. If you're starting early, it might come more in handy. That's the flotsam trap. I think it's a crab pot that catches materials, wood planks, silk or material for sails, instead of catching crabs. There's the material harvester, which is a net that does the same thing. So instead of having a net deployed that catches fish over time, this is a net that gets deployed that catches material upgrade pieces over time. Again, kind of useful if you need those. And there are some points throughout this playthrough where I did need to get some of those materials. So having that net as you're driving around, it comes in handy. The third and the most important is the siphon trawler. And we're going to need this. This replaces your net and works a little bit in a different way. So you'll activate it, and if you're driving through a goo patch with this activated, it actually vacuums up the goo. It removes the goo and puts them into canisters, which get loaded into the inventory on your ship. And this thing is super, super useful for a lot of reasons, but also because it gets us our 3rd achievement of the DLC, is Remedial Apparatus for 20 gamer score, which is to equip that siphon trawler. The siphon trawler and the rods and a lot of other components that you work on in the Iron Rig DLC, they usually use as one of the components in crafting them a basic form of something. So I think the siphon trawler needs like a basic trawl net. Thankfully, you can get these components right on the iron rig. There's a little shop, it's called the Underground, and it has I think it had almost all. There was like one thing I needed that I couldn't get in terms of components for crafting things that you need for the iron rig. You can get on the iron rig at this Underground store. It has refreshable supplies as well. You can get gear parts, tech research parts from this guy on kind of a cooldown. You can get bait from here, which will come very important when we try to complete catching all the fish. Bait is a component of some other things that we can craft. So a very useful store, and it's right here on the iron rig. In addition to crates, those goo canisters, they're called dark canisters. They're the other really big component that you're gonna need a ton of to progress through the rest of the DLC. So I would hesitate to recommend sucking up all of the goo patches immediately. I would wait until you've caught the fish that you need to in a certain area, and then you can do that. There is a way to like replenish the goo patches so you don't completely block yourself from progress if you suck it all up before you've caught the fish that you need there. But I wouldn't mess with that. You don't need a ton of dark canisters early. So finish your fishing in the area and then do a cleanup pass to get yourself a whole bunch of dark containers. Or if you need one for a quest, go back to the Narrows and get one container or two containers to turn in to advance the quest to build the next thing that you need to build. Don't go to the area that you're working on right now and suck up the whole patch. And we will need at least one of those canisters to craft a new fishing rod. As I mentioned, I think it was in the previous video, we now have upgraded fishing rods that we need to fish in the goop hatches in each location. So you're given the first one, but it can't fish in all the locations that you need to catch all of our samples for the Gale Cliffs. You need the second infused rod. I think it's a winch type. So, and I think it needs oceanic. So you need the infused rod that can fish in oceanic type of water. And you can build that with a dark canister, with the regular oceanic rod, and I think a crate. I think there's a third component as well. Make sure you add that to your boat so that then we can finish getting our 4 fish samples for the Gale Cliffs. And again, while you're doing all of this, hopefully your crab pots are sitting, and hopefully when you go back and check on them, you'll have the crab species and the aberration that you need for that. While we're waiting for our crab pot to fill up, or as you're progressing through the game kind of naturally, collect those dark canisters, as I said, not blocking your progress, but going back and cleaning up areas that you've already finished with. And once you've collected 10 total dark canisters, we'll unlock our 4th achievement of the DLC, and that's Dark Custodian for another 20 gamer score. Once we've caught our 4 samples from the Gale Cliffs, go back to the scientist and turn those in, and we're going to be given our next location, the Stellar Basin, where we're going to be doing the same thing. We need to travel there, we need to catch 4 species of fish, 3 fish and 1 crab, and we also, while we're there, we need to visit, I believe it's the researcher, who we meet in the regular version of the playthrough, and we're going to, it's a really nice tie-in to the base game story. We're using their expertise in kind of communicating with these large monsters under the sea to set up a defense system for the iron rig. So while we're there, set up your crab pots, go find the researcher, talk to them about what we need to do in order to set up the defense station. Spoiler alert, it's gonna need more crates. And then you can do fishing. If we've caught our species of fish, head back to the iron rig, set up the defenses. If you have your crab, great. If not, burn some time, go back, check your crab pots, and we'll be able to finish up the Stellar Basin here very quickly, kind of a rinse and repeat in order to get our 4 species of fish turned in, and then we'll advance into the next location, which we'll cover in the next video. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.
Ah. Ah. Huh. Ah. Ah.